All right, up close and personal on this one. I have always said that I absolutely loved Pete Rose. Pete Rose was everything you would want in a baseball player. A man who had a great affinity for loving life the way he loved playing baseball. And he lived life the way he played baseball. He always dove in head first. Yeah, you remember those epic slides, right? That's the only way he knew how to do it. And Shoeless Joe Jackson, that's another story and another time. But Rob Manfred stepping up and lifting the Lifetime ban. Could Cooperstown be next? You know, Pete, in one of his last interviews, said that he would probably go in after his death. I truly wish he was still here to see this. You know, not that you don't expect people once they get to be a certain age to, eventually pass away. But he was one of those guys that I just thought would live forever. You know, a lot of people don't realize this about Pete Rose. He had a whole lot of other things that he did rather well, too. And he knew baseball. And he was a great player, but he was also a great manager. And I think if he would have been able to stay in the game, he would have been in the Hall for that, too. Hey, look, not making excuses. What he did was wrong. But sometimes you have to look at the big picture. And after a certain period of time, you just got to let it go. There's a lot more horrible things happening in this world. But what Pete Rose did was wrong, and he paid the price. And sadly, he's not here to hear this great news. But let me tell you something else Pete Rose did. And many of you may not even realize this, but it's a fact. You know, one of the phenomenons in the country today is sports talk radio. And we have the best brand right down the hall here at Odyssey, 93.7 The Fan. Well, long before phenomenons like 93.7 The Fan, the great brand that is Odyssey, there was a guy by the name of Pete Rose who had to make a living. So what did he do? He put his money where his mouth was. That's right. Started to do talk radio. And he became a phenomenon at it. And he could talk about everything. Pete Rose was multi-talented. And he did live the dream. Let's face it. Grew up Cincinnati, played for his childhood team. And he was on a team in the 70s, and we here in Pittsburgh, especially we baby boomers, those bookend World Series, 71, 79, and could have maybe won a few more if it wasn't for Sparky Anderson and Bench and Rose and Concepcion. And, man, George Foster, what a team they had in Cincinnati, right? But it was Charlie Hustle. It was Pete Rose. He made the meter move. Joe Morgan, anyone. You talk to him. Pete Rose, man. This is good news. This is good news. Anyway, have a great rest of your day. Nowhere else to be but right here with me tonight, coming up shortly after local news at 6 on KDKA.